So as soon as we find out who you are, trust you will be dealt with. Period.
All right, put the dick in the bag.
We want to make it clear, real clear. Domestic violence is not a joke. It's not something that we should take lightly. For those of you that are posting on Facebook and doing all that unnecessary stuff, I don't care what a person does to you. You don't have the right to take her life. You don't have the right to put your hands on nobody.
In the late hours of March 26, 2023, a woman was found dead in northeast Colombia. The victim was 25-year-old Winter Sh0t, a popular TikToker from Colombia. At around 6 p.m., police were called to Mallet Hill Road, where they discovered a woman with close-range bullet wounds, dead at the scene. The shocking events did not end with this discovery. Later in the same apartment, a single gunshot was heard from one of the rooms, and what the officers found inside left everyone heartbroken. This is a very disturbing story of Winter Sh0t. Before we begin, we would love to extend our deepest condolences to the family and friends of Winter Sh0t, as well as everyone affected by this tragic incident. For you to better understand the people in this story, let me share their backgrounds from Columbia, South Carolina. Columbia, South Carolina, a city known for its southern charm and rich history, stands at the crossroads of culture and caution, with a crime rate of 34.5, significantly higher than the national average of 22.7. 25-year-old Winter Nicole Sh0t was a radiant young woman living in Columbia, South Carolina. After growing up in San Diego, California, she moved to Columbia. Known for her infectious laughter and vibrant personality, Winter loved to party, have fun, and share her goofy moments on social media.
My name is Winter, and I'm the birthday girl in 3 days, and I'm guaranteed to be the drunkest.
Her mother, LaShawn Williams, described her as a devoted daughter, a good sister, and a loyal friend, someone with a magnetic energy who brought joy to everyone around her. However, Winter was not only a standout athlete during her time at Columbia High School, she also excelled in basketball and volleyball before attending Allen University, where she became a proud member of the Gamma Pi chapter of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, with a Bachelor of Arts in Social Science, focusing on pre-law. Determined and community-driven, her dream was to attend law school and make a difference. Therefore, she made an extra effort. Winter worked as a mental health counselor at the South Carolina Department of Corrections, where she specialized in helping inmates with behavioral and mental health challenges. Her colleagues admired her dedication and compassion, remembering her as a bright light who cared deeply about her work and the lives she touched. Winter's vibrant spirit and commitment to uplifting others left a lasting impact on everyone who knew her. But a single decision would change everything. According to her Facebook page, Winter Nicole Sh0t began dating 27-year-old Renardo Johnson in 2018 after he first noticed her on Snapchat. Their love story seemed like a modern fairy tale, with the couple frequently sharing TikTok videos and social media posts that showed their playful and affectionate relationship. Friends and followers admired their chemistry, describing them as the perfect couple who always seemed to be laughing, joking, and enjoying life together. When Winter was involved in a serious accident, Renardo was by her side, caring for her, a testament to the bond they shared. However, behind the smiles and shared moments of joy, there were glimpses of tension that hinted at deeper issues within their relationship. Winter and Renardo's relationship was taking a hit, and eventually, both parties decided it was best to go their separate ways. From August 2020 to December 2022, the couple regularly shared their lives on TikTok. However, some videos featured captions that raised eyebrows and hinted at underlying tensions. For example, in one TikTok, Leonardo appeared visibly frustrated, seemingly complaining about Winter's attitude, while Winter captioned the clip with a message suggesting how lucky he was to have her. Suddenly, by early 2023, their account went silent. However, the silence was broken in the most devastating way. At around 6 p.m. on Sunday, March 26, 2023, officers responded to reports of a shooting at an apartment complex on Mallet Hill Road in Columbia, South Carolina. Officers were quickly dispatched. When they arrived at the scene of the crime, they found 25-year-old Winter Straw's lifeless body lying outside the building with gunshot wounds. She had been shot several times, but one detail didn't add up. Who could have committed such a gruesome act? Investigators quickly began their work. After examining the crime scene, it became apparent that there had been no signs of a struggle. The bullet wound suggested a close-range shot, which means there was some sort of communication before firing. They also gathered that a male had been the one who shot Winter, and then they ran into the apartment complex. But who in the apartment would have any motive to kill Winter Straw, and why? The truth was more terrifying. It didn't take long for investigators to identify 27-year-old Renardo S. Johnson, Winter's ex-boyfriend, as the suspected shooter. And with deep investigation, the truth was revealed. Prior to the shooting, Renardo and Winter had been standing outside the apartment complex when an argument started between them. In the heat of the moment, Renardo pulled out a gun, aimed it at Winter, and shot her multiple times before he ran into the apartment complex and barricaded himself in. Investigators, including the Sheriff's Department negotiator team, worked tirelessly to establish communication with Renardo. For nearly 3 hours, they pleaded with him to surrender peacefully. However, at 9 p.m., communication suddenly ceased. Little did they know what was about to happen next. Just when it seemed like the worst was over, gunshots were suddenly heard coming from within the apartment where Renardo had locked himself in. The officers had a decision to make quickly. They forcefully kicked down the door of the apartment. What they found would not only shock them, but also change how this story would end. When officers entered the apartment, they discovered Renardo unconscious with a visible gunshot wound to his upper chest area. He was rushed to a nearby hospital, but despite efforts to save his life, Renardo would sadly be pronounced dead later that night.
The suspect in an hours-long standoff last night in Northeast Columbia has died. The incident started around 6 o'clock last night near the 700 block of Mallet Hill Road. Deputies say a woman was shot and killed right outside an apartment complex there.
Winter's tragic death, compounded by Renardo's, left her family and friends heartbroken and confused. Why would Renardo want Winter dead? Winter's mother, Sh0t Williams, expressed disbelief and devastation, stating that there had been no signs of violence or mistreatment from Renardo. He had been welcomed into their family with open arms, making the events of that fateful day an unimaginable betrayal.
It is definitely a betrayal, because this man looked me in my eyes all the time. And whenever I would talk to him, I'd say, I'm giving you my child, a wholehearted.
On March 27, 2023, a vigil was held at 6:30 p.m. at the Carrington Place at Wildwood Apartment Homes. Family and friends, as well as people from the community, showed up in large numbers. Many dressed in purple to honor Winter, gathered to grieve and celebrate her life. Winter's co-workers at the South Carolina Department of Corrections organized a fundraiser to assist with her funeral expenses and held a separate vigil to remember the vibrant and compassionate young woman who had touched so many lives. Winter was laid to rest on April 5, 2023, surrounded by an outpouring of love from friends, family, and colleagues. They gathered to say their final goodbyes, honoring her memory with smiles, believing that Winter would have wanted them to celebrate her life rather than be consumed by sadness. Her mother, Sh0t Williams, shared that she has since devoted her energy to combating domestic violence, determined to share Winter's story to raise awareness and help prevent similar tragedies.
We want to make it clear, real clear. Domestic violence is not a joke. It's not something that we should take lightly. For those of you that are posting on Facebook and doing all that unnecessary stuff, I don't care what a person does to you. You don't have the right to take her life. You don't have the right to put your hands on nobody.
While the full story of what transpired between Winter and Renardo remains unknown, Winter Nicole Straw will be remembered for her warmth, achievements, and the light she brought into the lives of those who knew her. Winter Straw's life was stolen in a horrifying act of violence at the hands of her boyfriend, but the terror didn't end there. Just a few hours away, another promising young woman met a similarly tragic fate. Her bright future, her dreams, and her life were ripped away in the most horrendous and unimaginable way. In the early hours of April 16, 2021, a 35-year-old college woman was rushed to the hospital after suffering from severe burn wounds in South Deering, Chicago. The woman was 35-year-old Luvinia Gardner Taylor, a fun-loving soul known for her radiant smile, and had retired for the night, but was suddenly awakened from her sleep only to discover that she was on fire. She had been burning in her sleep. What happened while she had gone to bed and what investigators discovered next would change her life forever. This is the heartbreaking story of Luvinia Gardner Taylor.
I love you so much. I love you just because you make me so happy. I really thank you for being in my life. And you just are so beautiful. And I really cherish and adore you.
I'll listen to you. I'll nurture you. I'll fight, but I will be true. I will always do my equal share, and I will vow to never give up on you. And when you feel like the world is crumbling, look at me, because I'm your rock. I will love you, and I just want to thank you for choosing me. Because you chose me.
34-year-old Luvinia Gardner Taylor, affectionately called Viv by her close friends and family. She grew up in a Chicago neighborhood where crime and violence was the order of the day. Despite the harsh environment, Luvinia found solace in laughter and embodied the phrase, "Laugh to keep from crying." Her mission to spread joy and keep those around her happy made her a constant source of light and positivity. Even as an adult, Luvinia remained playful and vibrant, her ever-present smile bringing warmth to everyone she encountered. But what happened next would set off a chain of events that no one could have foreseen. In the spring of 2020, Luvinia met a charming young man, 30-year-old Henry Taylor. He was introduced to her by a mutual friend in Chicago. She quickly fell for Henry, although in the beginning the relationship was of sexual benefit, but in no time, both parties decided to take it even further. Luvinia believed Henry was her partner for life. He was attentive and loving. He shared her love for fun and food, two passions that bonded them deeply. The pair often enjoyed outings with friends, singing karaoke and savoring delicious meals. However, it didn't take long for Luvinia to uncover Henry's darker side. Luvinia discovered that Henry was an ex-convict, and he displayed troubling behaviors. He seemed to lack deep emotional connection. He was prone to unprovoked aggression. He would disregard others' feelings, and, worst off, he had a superficial charm masking his true nature. However, these attributes didn't change anything for Luvinia. She was more focused on the few bright spots in their relationship: fun, food. She believed she could manage Henry's darker side by showering him with love and attention, hoping her efforts would soften his edges. If only she knew this wouldn't be enough. Henry was volatile and unapologetically true to himself, with no desire to change. He once confided in her, admitting that he was experiencing short man syndrome.
Anger issues because I'm short as I really have the short man syndrome, and I'll be ready to explode. Like when dude hit our car, and I was like,
I knew
baby.
I knew I had to get out the car. Y'all, this man hit our car, right?
I am so
Just got truck too bad.
A condition where a man feels inadequate due to his height and compensates with aggression and disrespect. No matter how much love Luvinia poured into the relationship, it didn't matter. Without Henry's willingness to change, their dynamic was bound to remain toxic. Despite all these things, when Henry proposed to Luvinia, it was a dream come true for her. She didn't hesitate to say yes. She loved him deeply, and this proposal felt like the fairy tale she had always dreamed of. Plans for their wedding were soon in motion, and before long, the big day arrived. In late January 2021, family and friends gathered to celebrate Luvinia and Henry's joyous wedding, with a spontaneous trip to Las Vegas, where they exchanged their vows. Those closest to her believed it was the start of something beautiful, but for Luvinia, the wedding would be the last time she radiated true joy. During their vow exchange, Henry's words were thoughtless and self-centered.
And then I'm going to allow you, sir, to go ahead and start with your personal vows to your lovely bride.
Lavinia, I love you so much. I love you just because you make me so happy. I really thank you for being in my life. And you just are so beautiful. And I really cherish and adore you because you are the one that I want in my life forever.
Leaving Lavinia feeling as though his promises were more about fulfilling his own needs than honoring their bond. On the other hand, Lavinia's vows were a beautiful reflection of her deep love and commitment, focusing on teamwork, partnership, and building a future together. She spoke of shared dreams, mutual respect, and unwavering support.
Into my life at a time where I couldn't even possibly imagine my worth. I thank you now because you helped me grow. And although I never forget where I came from, I always remember where I'm going. And that's with you by my side. Because it's gonna always include us standing next to each other and side by side. I vow to continue to inspire you as you have always inspired me. I promise to give you my eternal loyalty and heart, for you are the only man I would ever need. I'll listen to you. I'll nurture you. I'll fight, but I will be true. I will always do my equal share, and I will vow to never give up on you.
However, what followed in the days after their marriage was far from the happily ever after she had imagined. Lavinia was over the moon. She had finally experienced her dream wedding and was thrilled to be Henry's wife. Her joy was evident in the happy dance she performed after being pronounced husband and wife, a moment of pure celebration. But in the weeks following the wedding, those closest to Lavinia began to notice subtle yet concerning changes. The radiant spark that lit up her face on her wedding day began to dim. She seemed distant, at times even fearful, but her friends and family dismissed it as the natural adjustment to married life, a transition that could be challenging for anyone. What they didn't know, and what Lavinia herself may not have fully realized, was that the man she had just vowed to spend her life with would soon become her greatest source of fear. On the surface, everything seemed normal, but subtle shifts in Henry's behavior began to emerge. At first, it was easy to overlook an offhand comment about where Lavinia was spending her time, a questioning look when she chatted with friends, or a sharp word when she didn't answer his calls quickly enough. These moments were unsettling, but Lavinia rationalized them.
She was seeking something more lasting, which she expressed on Facebook, wanting to settle down. Her post read, "The goal is to get someone permanent so you can stop starting over."
After all, weren't newlyweds supposed to adjust to sharing every part of their lives? She convinced herself these were just growing pains, typical in any marriage, and chose to ignore her discomfort. Little did she know what was about to happen next. However, as days turned into weeks, Henry's need for control became undeniable. He started questioning her every move, who she was with, what she was doing, even what she wore. If Lavinia wanted to spend time with friends or family, Henry would twist the situation to make her feel guilty, as though she was abandoning him or neglecting their new life together. Despite the glaring red flags, Lavinia clung to hope. She acknowledged the danger knowing Henry could explode at any moment, but chose to believe he would eventually change. She ignored her instincts and convinced herself that his behavior was a phase. Over time, she began to see Henry as an inseparable part of her life, but Henry's perspective was different from Lavinia's. While she had attached herself to him, seeing him as an integral part of her life, he remained emotionally detached. In his mind, her presence in his life was a favor he was granting her. To him, he was the prize. And Lavinia reinforced this notion by showering him with kindness and gratitude without expecting reciprocity. Her heartfelt vows and expressions of thanks for choosing her only solidified his belief in his superiority within the relationship. She had no idea she was moments away from the unexpected. On the evening of February 8th, 2021, they shared a seemingly special meal together, something they often enjoyed. In a spur-of-the-moment decision, they decided to go live on their separate Facebook pages to share the experience with their viewers. However, As the live stream unfolded, Lavinia realized it had been a mistake. Yet, perhaps out of fear or the need to maintain appearances, she didn't in the video. The live stream provided a raw look into their dynamic relationship. Their conversation was marked by long, disparaging banter filled with profanities. Henry's blatant disrespect and disregard for Lavinia were on full display, with him dominating the interaction with an unsettlingly demeaning manner. Lavinia's immediate attempts to diffuse the tension, smooth things over, and appease him were painfully ineffective. As the live stream continued, tension grew between Henry and Lavinia. When Lavinia praised her friends, Henry took offense, his tone turning confrontational.
Babe.
What?
Courtney graduated college. Coco went to college. Cynthia went to college. They already went to school.
University.
School, so I guess it's time they can.
Are you
know
live?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so, and I'm not saying nothing's wrong because I'm proud of you.
Because my niggas
don't get it twisted. I am proud that you went back to school. Don't get it twisted.
We don't care because Courtney got a education out of a cereal box.
Well, I'm not gonna lie.
I don't care about who homie got their education. My homie got an education.
That's all that matters.
I don't care about what no other got.
Lavinia tried to pacify him, but her efforts were in vain. Henry's anger shifted to her friends, and he openly threatened them on live.
Baby, I put this thing on,
I'm gonna open his head up and set his ass on fire.
Lavinia, visibly uncomfortable, tried to redirect the conversation, but Henry's words grew more inappropriate. He then mocked their marriage, made crude comments about Lavinia's mother, and crossed every boundary.
What?
I had to get on my live and talk about him, but I end up eating.
Your mama on my live, bro.
Let me call her.
Yo, mama, look. Let me say how petty she is. She won't send me no friend request. She'll be on the outskirts and be like, you ain't even my friend. Did I?
Cause soon as she get on the phone, what she gonna say?
Oh, he always posting stuff.
Lavinia, shaken, struggled to hide her discomfort as the viewers witnessed their fractured relationship. The energy between them was unsettling. There was a tension, an unspoken understanding that it was only a matter of time before something would go horribly wrong. Henry's behavior, both verbal and emotional, was a ticking time bomb, and it seemed inevitable that he would eventually act on his words. On the morning of April 16th, 2021, the couple had gotten into yet another fight. It started as just another argument, the same disparaging banter they had come to know too well. But this time, it quickly moved into a domestic dispute. In a bid to be the peacemaker, Lavinia tried to de-escalate the situation as she always did in an attempt to pacify him. As the heated exchange settled, Lavinia attempted to put the argument behind them, telling Henry she was heading to bed and asked if he would join her. But Henry, still brimming with unresolved anger, couldn't let go of the tension. He ignored her, staying in the living room, his mind racing with resentment and frustration. But minutes later, consumed by dark thoughts, he walked into the bedroom to find Lavinia sound asleep, seemingly unaware of the storm still brewing within him. And in that split second, everything came crashing down. Still, filled with rage, he walked back out and got his lighter fluid and lighter. He walked back into the bedroom, and as Lavinia lay there sleeping peacefully on her side at around 1:30 a.m., Henry covered her entire body with lighter fluid and then lit her on fire. As Lavinia woke up in pain and as she realized what was happening, she jumped out of bed and ran to the bathroom while trying to get her clothing off and try to put out the fire. But the shower didn't help. Lavinia then ran 2 blocks to the Engine 81 fire station, banging on the door in desperation. What they discovered after opening the door would leave them horrified. When they opened their doors, the firefighters were speechless by what they saw. Lavinia's skin had melted over her fingernails, her hair extensions had melted over her head and skin. The firefighters sprang into action immediately. They rushed Lavinia to Trinity Hospital. As they drove, Lavinia explained that her husband had poured lighter fluid on her and set her on fire. Terrified, she asked if she was going to survive, confessing that she had known for some time her husband would try to kill her and that she should have left him long ago. While Lavinia was fighting for her life, Henry decided to place phone calls to her family, confessing to what he had done. After committing such an evil act, Henry went into hiding. Lavinia's family and friends were devastated by her tragic death. What was Henry's motive? Lavinia was a kind-hearted and friendly woman. She loved Henry, so why would he want to murder her in such a callous way? The truth, however, was even more horrifying than anyone imagined. During the investigation, authorities later secured a search warrant and discovered nearly empty bottles of lighter fluid and a barbecue lighter at the scene of their home. Lavinia suffered second and third degree burns covering 70% of her body, with extensive damage to her tissues, muscles, and tendons. Despite undergoing surgery and skin grafts, her body couldn't withstand the extensive trauma, and she passed away on May 21st, 2021, at the University of Chicago Medical Center. On May 26, 2021, Henry turned himself in to the police, confessing to the brutal crime. He claimed that he wasn't even close to Lavinia when she caught fire. Apparently, people could go up in flames by themselves. He was later charged with first-degree murder and is currently being held without bond at the Cook County Jail. What happened to Lavinia was senseless and heartless. She didn't deserve to have her life taken in such a brutal manner, especially by the man she shared a vow with. It was obvious Lavinia loved and trusted her husband, Henry. She never would have imagined he could be capable of such a betrayal. What do you think could have been the motive behind the murder of both women? What warning signs do you think are most commonly overlooked in toxic relationships? How do you think social and cultural factors influence how we address and respond to cases like Winter Straw's and Lavinia Gardner Taylor's? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Here are some other shocking stories we've covered in this channel, and they're even more disturbing than what you just watched. I hope you learned something from them. If you like the way we present these stories, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content. See you in the next one.